So, this week we started off with some talks about financial responsibility and money, which Violet seemed really receptive and understanding to, even though she still continues to spend her allowance on things that she regrets. I think at some point we will get past that, but we did somehow, in the mix of all this shopping and talking and discussing, come across a really good find in the clearance department of our local grocery store of candy melt wafers. So you know that ended in us having to make some type of candy melts. Now, while Violet worked on whatever she wanted to add to this, which was a combination of chocolate chips, mint chips, and mini marshmallows, I was over working on the stove on what we would be actually eating, or at least what I would be actually offering for food this week. This week there was a sale at our local grocery store on organic broccoli florets, so I just had the craving to make some broccoli and carrot cheese base. And I'm making cheese base because you can use it with pasta or you can use it as a soup base, but I'm really just working on the vegetables today as my priority. And this meal, believe it or not, is where a lot of the regrow garden idea actually started back up again, because as you'll see, I do a lot of chopping of the broccoli florets because just personal preference, because they're in the bag doesn't mean that they're completely ready to go, even though they say washed and ready to use. Like, yes, they may be. Am I probably still going to wash them myself? Absolutely. Am I going to cut them down to fit the size of the meal that I'm making? Of course. Do I love watching them turn that so satisfying bright green color that is vitamin and mineral rich? Absolutely. Will my child eat it? Well, she didn't, so I'll just spoil it for you here. But I really did enjoy it, and I ended up freezing some of it to stretch out for quite some time so I could reoffer it to her, but unfortunately for her, she still seems to prefer the Velveeta cheese. Now, not for nothing, while that cheese is really tasty, and for some people that is the palate, that's not what I personally enjoy. I'm just more about actually eating the vegetables now and tasting them. Of course, there was a time where I was young and didn't care about my body or what was going into it, and I think that was very apparent with the state of my health, because not for nothing, you can be 19, 20, even early 30s, be skinny and be unhealthy in entirety. But I totally digress. I am not sure what I really want to do with these cast iron pieces. Not to completely switch gear, but while we are looking at them, I just am not really sure if I want to keep them, because these were things that were acquired during a part of my life that now, when I look back on it, just seems to resonate with bad luck. Even though these pots and pan sets have served me well, I'm just not sure if I would continue to feel happy cooking in them, or if I should maybe switch and try something new to reflect the new period that I'm on in my life. Because don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic set, and the color is absolutely beautiful and my favorite. And it was a whole mood in the kitchen where I first originally had these pieces. But my life has changed so much since then that it almost seems odd to me keeping the pot. But I still am on my kick with making fresh butters and even trying different flavors this week with making a cilantro and garlic butter, which you'll see here. I'm going to add the dried pieces and the garlic as it keeps spinning, to make some of the most flavorful cooking bases that I've had in a while. You know, those times when you're like, oh, well, I just want to like saute some vegetables or cook them up with, some butter and some spices. Well, I've already pre-spiced the butter, so now everything is just ready to go. Making the butter always takes so long, but I feel like it is so worth it as far as flavor goes. And the color now looks so much different to me than the color of the butter sticks that you would get at the grocery store that are pre-made. And the vegetable oil sticks that are like slightly concerning. I don't know. I used to love those for baking in my younger years, but the older I get, the more I'm shying away from that. Never mind the fact that it doesn't always sit correctly with my gastrointestinal system, but I am just obsessed with using this KitchenAid to the fullest. I can't even tell you how long I have had this thing. It was one of the first things that I purchased when I got my first apartment because I was like, you know what? Meal prep is essential. I would rather have my meal prep prepped by me and the dishes cooked the way that I want to be cooked than by the prepackaged meal prep plans that they have at the grocery store in your frozen food section. And I need something to help me do this quickly. And let me tell you, sometimes the kitchen is a whirlwind. I'll have this KitchenAid going and then something on the stove, and then I'll be using another slicer, prepper, chopper, cut machine. It is a whirlwind of worthwhile effort to be eating something that is healthy and enjoyable as far as flavor goes, because believe it or not, your taste will change as you get older, and you may as well embrace it instead of trying to run from it and make things that no longer seem to fit into your palate fit. Now, I definitely have some things that are on my list of learning how to make them that I haven't gotten there yet, and cream cheese is totally one of them. Ricotta cheese as well. I definitely wish that I could find a good vegan replacement for, and sour cream, but there just really never is something that kind of does what those two do for me. But I just put everything in here and let it all melt down and mixed it together and then pretty much called it a day. But while I was off doing that, Violet was over at her little table making all kinds of crazy chocolate creations with her candy melts. She wanted to film her own little tutorial of how she was doing these and how they came out. And I don't know if we're going to ever end up posting this footage, but it is really cute of her working on these and showing off the supplies that you need in order to do the craft, I guess you could call it. And I'm not really sure what ended up happening to the candies that she made. She put them somewhere and said that she was saving them for like Easter. And I think that we tried to use one of them in a hot chocolate mix, but I don't really know what happened to the majority of these. They may have just ended up accidentally thrown out, or she may have thrown them out, or who knows, maybe she's hidden them in her secret little cubby spot so well that we may never see them again. But this was definitely a fun activity for her that kept her busy and entertained while I was trying to make the most of my meal prep time, because she really didn't want to continue helping once she saw that I wasn't making anything that seemed fun to her. And that's fine. I understand it. I don't remember being her age, but I know I was there once. And I'm sure that I didn't spend any time like that in the kitchen unless I was doing something fun, like watching my parent put cookie dough on a cookie sheet. So I feel like this was a really cool moment to be able to allow her to be her own little person and do her own little thing and be as creative as she wants to in the kitchen, where a lot of my time that I remember being in the kitchen as a child or at her age was very heavily supervised, to the point where it really probably wasn't doing all that much myself anyways. And here she is with her own little table. I'm confident that she only asked me for help with heating up the candy melts, which is probably the appropriate part for me to do anyways, because even though we have discussed that metal doesn't go in the microwave, sometimes in the excitement and heat of it all, I'm not sure that she always remembers the things that are safety protocol that she's supposed to remember. But that's why I'm there as the parent, I suppose. So I thought this was such a cute idea that she had to pour all these chocolates into the cupcake tins She plans to make some like crazy looking cupcake thing with them, and I think we have some footage of that. Let me see. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like she recorded much of the footage of them completed, but you can see her putting them all together here, and they pretty much do kind of sort of look like that once they're all said and done. But she did make some cute little decorations for the top pieces, which you can kind of see in the next clip of her packaging everything up and getting ready to store it away to surprise me with later.
Hello, guys! This has turned out awesome.
Either way, I think this was a really fun thing for her to do, and I'm sure that we will have more of these crafting and candy making moments, especially with some of the recent candy molds that we've picked up on clearance throughout our travels and not so budget friendly trips to the craft store, which are always so rewarding. I don't even mind that it's over budget anymore, but I'm not gonna lie to you and say that we ever do stay on said budget when we go into that store. But that's okay. She got all of her good candy making stuff all finished up and made by the time that I finished making all the things that I was about to make in the kitchen. And even though I did offer her a chance to try some of the fresh butter that I made on some toast and some of the pasta that I made with broccoli and carrots, she was not feeling it.
I will see you next time.
By the way, it's August 1st, and I finally found them. So funny. So this is pretty much where the Regrow Garden started, with me trying to show Violet this propagating technique that we saw online that works with broccoli to help develop some of the roots. Now you're just supposed to kind of have these things gently in the water, and I'm really working with what recycled options I have around the house to do this. Will there be success with this or not? I'm not sure, but was this a fun project to try to show Violet? Sure, it was. And even if she only ever remembers that we tried, at some point she may have an opportunity in her life to try to grow something and remember back to her childhood these little moments that seemed kind of silly of trying to propagate broccoli in our kitchen.
Welcome back to Violet's Bakery. Today we will be decorating this tree that we got from Walmart. It's definitely not fair anymore because it was over here around Christmas time, so it's definitely not fair anymore.
In other little fun tutorial moments that Violet had while I was trying to get something else done in the kitchen, she decided that she was going to wrap up one of our Christmas tree skirts with wrapping paper for the upcoming holiday so it matched it better and looked a little bit more springy and St. Patrick's Day as opposed to candy cane Christmas. I think that this was a really fun idea of hers because she saw the green and was like, oh, well, St. Patrick's Day is coming up and that's a green color holiday. So let's cover up this candy cane thing. And you know what? It's kind of cute and it kind of works. I definitely dig it and I love the creativity of it. And being able to record her own little tutorials is so cute as well, because I think these will be fun memories for her to look back on and say, oh, well, mommy was in the kitchen doing her work and I was over here doing my work or whatever, because I think that's kind of sort of how life evolves anyways. She even took the initiative to go ahead and clear out underneath the tree so she could put it on herself to finish the tutorial. And this was like so cute to watch back afterwards. I can't wait to show her how well her little tutorial of changing the tree skirt came out. Oh, and for a super happy mom clearance find, a whole bunch of electric toothbrushes were marked down for $1.50 or $2.50. her favorite ones. So, we had to stock up a little bit on these because oral health is overall. You can kind of see me. I was just thinking, one of my favorite clips of Violet as a baby is when she's trying to climb onto the bed and she just looks like this little creepy alien thing, like a small little doll, like climbing up onto the bed. It's so funny. I don't know who needs to hear this today. Don't mind my mid-heatless curls. But there is nothing that you need out there in this snow worth dying for. I totally forgot, like, how bad it can be because I literally just don't. I don't care about anything enough to go out in the snow for it, and I don't have to. So, I consider myself very fortunate in that sense. But let me tell you, I was driving today literally a mile from the gas station back to my residence and almost died like 4 times. First of all, the snow is coming down so fast, so hard, it's crazy. Second of all, there's definitely pockets on that street where there's absolutely no street lighting and it's pitch black on a good day. So never mind it being pitch black with like whiteout conditions, like I couldn't see anything. I don't know what side of the road I was on, but I made it home safely. But the second that I go to turn into my private residence community or whatever, there's like some tourist who's parked in the middle of the entrance that I almost hit because my janky ass delivery cart, 2-wheel drive, not for snowmobile, decides it's going to fishtail because now I have to like maneuver around him to try to not die when like, just pull up, sir. You're like, I know it says no trust. Just don't go too deep into the trespassing. We will understand that you were having some he was trying to put insurance on his car. I'm like, now probably does seem like a good time, buddy. Not gonna lie to you. But pull up so I don't hit you, because I almost just hit your uninsured ass. So we're in the middle of like a snowstorm happening right now. We're getting like up to 8 inches tonight. And it's well past Valentine's Day, but
box in my closet.
We finally unearthed it from her closet because I'm trying to give her like her own space for like stop jumping please, it's late. Like I'm trying to give her own space so she can like, independence or whatever in the confines of that area, but I don't even want to play in it. It's so bad.
Mom calls it an abyss.
It's an abyss. Everything is lost. But I found the Valentine's Day box. I have eyes on the St. Patrick's Day box, but we're going to at least go through the Valentine's Day one because the tree is bare. I put Valentine's Day candy on it when it was Valentine's Day, but no. So in order to take advantage of this snowstorm, I decided that we were going to go through this old Valentine's Day box. Yes, it's after Valentine's Day, but you know what? We're still going to have our little fun moment with this stuff because it doesn't really matter when you celebrate, right? As long as you celebrate. I'm not really sure that's how that goes, but if you go ahead and apply the same concept that any day can be Christmas, which was probably some of the best advice I ever got from someone, any day can be Valentine's Day, right? So, I think the goal here was really to have whatever we had to do done before the snow done, even if we had to flip-flop Valentine's Day to accommodate the snow in our schedule. We're going to leave the tree up like this until the end of the month anyways, so it really doesn't matter. Today is Valentine's Day for us, and we had so much fun trying to decorate this tree in like a rusticy vintage paper hearts love type mood. And this heart that Violet put in the tree just a second ago, the one that has the sequins on it, that was actually from a Valentine's Day chocolate box that I bought for the two of us when she was probably 2 or 3 years old, and she just loves the way that the sequins move and feel on it. It was just like such a huge sensory moment for her. We have a few pillows that are like that too. But I think the real highlight for her was going through these fortune cookie pieces. They have these cute little Chinese fortune teller things inside of them, but a lot of them were like glued together, so it didn't really work out all that well, but maybe something that we can make ourselves instead of, you know, the dollar store broken version that we had that was like so hilariously bad that it was good. I mean, truthfully, sometimes you just have to look at the $1.25 store or the dollar store, whatever, as this is a dollar investment into whether or not you even like this concept before you invest.
Okay, I don't even know what's going on, how to explain this anymore. I don't have the heat on. It's just doing that. And like, I have the door open, and I've made it go down from 75, mind you. I used the dryer today. I used the oven once, but it was already 75 in here. What is happening? Is this downstairs neighbor activity?
So let me tell you, one thing that I am eternally grateful for is my tote system, because at the end of the night or the end of the week, whatever play schedule she's on, all this stuff just gets packed up and I get to let her have her little freedom moment, and then we get a new clean week to begin again. Sometimes it looks overwhelming, but this is the reality of I have my kid and she has her own play space, and I let her have the freedom to play how she wants to in said play space. Of course, it has to be clean. Of course, it has to be picked up. And even though I'm not going to show you what it looks like when it is, just know that when I call it an abyss, I'm not lying.